Okay, let's take a look at those examples. So I know that I need my quadratic term and linear term on the left and my constant term on the right. So I'm going to add x squared to both sides, and I'm going to add 44 to both sides. That's going to clear it out and take it where it needs to go. So over here I have 4x squared, negative 40x equals, those 44's cancel out, and I get 45, those terms cancel out. Now I want to get rid of my coefficient of my quadratic term, so I'm going to divide everything by 4. I have to do it across the board, not just one term, all terms. So I get x squared minus 6x plus something equals 45 over 4. Now I just do what I did yesterday, so I'm going to take negative 6 divided by 2 and square it, which is negative 3 squared, giving me a positive 9. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. And now I factor this to the perfect square, and I get x minus 3 squared equals, remember when we add fractions, I get a common denominator, I add my numerators, and I get 81 over 4. Now I can isolate because I've got my squared term by itself. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and I get x minus 3 equals plus or minus 9 over 2. To get x by itself, I add 3 to both sides. So I have two problems that I need to do here. I'm going to start with negative 9 halves and add 3. So negative 9 halves and add 3 over 1. Don't forget, it's your common denominator. So when I combine my numerators, I get negative 3 over 2. And then I'm going to add positive 9 over 2 plus 3, common denominator, and I get 15 over 2. So a little work with fractions, you're going to get them, so love them. Let's move up and let's see what happens when we have irrational solutions. So I'm going to go down to number 9. And I start the same way. I still need to get my quadratic term and linear term on the left, and then my constant term on the right. So I am going to add 3 to both sides. 3x squared minus 6x equals 93. And now I need to get my quadratic term to 1, so I'm going to divide everything by 3. And I get x squared minus 2x plus something equals 31. I need to find this term here, so I am going to take negative 2 divided by 2, which is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1, so I'm going to add 1 to both sides. While I'm here, I can go ahead and find the factor it, and it becomes x minus 1 squared equals 32. Now I can take the square root of both sides, and I get x minus 1 equals plus or minus the square root of 32. I can simplify that radical, so I need to. So I'm going to simplify 32. Remember how we do it? 2 and 16. If I recognize that it's a square root of 4, I can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I'm going to take it down. It's okay. I'm going to get there the same way. It takes 2 pairs of 2 to go outside the box, which is 4, and then square root of 2 is left over. So I get x minus 1 equals plus or minus 4 square roots of 2. And then to get x by itself, I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Please, please do not forget that there's 2 solutions in here. It's going to cross that x-axis 2 times. I can do negative 4 square roots of 2 plus 1, and I can do positive 4 square roots of 2 plus 1. These are unlike terms, so I can't combine them. So that is my final answer, very similar to last time's irrational. If you need help, come and see me.